want to say thank you for being with me today. Trigger warning, you know what we're going to be talking about, so if you need to leave, I understand. But for everyone that stays, let's get into it. Okay, so money issues is one of the number one reasons, and it's because of the financial stress, and it creates a lot of anxiety. And especially when I was looking at some of the statistics, it shows that men, especially white men, they're twice as likely to unalive themselves. And black men, are four times more likely to unalive themselves than black women. So you want to look these statistics up for yourself. I got this from, what was it called? Office of Minority Health, and then another article called Health. So in the article called Health, it pretty much says that it creates a lot of fear, and anxiety, especially when someone is the head of household. Okay, so it's not just men that are usually the head of household nowadays, but we know that a lot of women are, especially single mothers, are the head of their household. So it is unneeded stress that's always on you when you have other people that depend on you. Okay, especially when you have younger children, and with the pandemic, and with all the changes that are going that happened or whatever, there was a lot of people that lost money. Okay, they may have lost their jobs and everything, and yes, there were some people that were able to get money through the government to help them through, but then there's still a lot of situations where people just feel overwhelmed. So every time something comes up and it was unexpected, they don't have a way to pay for that. Like I read somewhere, it said over like 50-60% of Americans wouldn't be able to do something if there was a debt that came up, an emergency, a $400 emergency. They don't have enough money for a $400 emergency, is what I'm trying to say. Excuse me for being so tongue-tied, but I'm about to start this video over again. I started over it twice. So yeah, so basically what they're saying is money is one of the number one problems that people have, and that would lead them to unaliving themselves. And so some of the things that can be done to ease some of the stresses, of course, get other people in your home to work as well. But then you could join a support group, seek counseling, of course, for mental and financial health. Also, take financial management classes, organize your thoughts by journaling, create a realistic budget for yourself, okay? So, the thing is, there's always a way out. It's just that when people are going through certain things at that moment, they may not be able to see out of the pain and the feeling that they're going through. So, that's why it's important for people to be able to talk to someone about this, okay? That could give you a different insight. Another thing that I saw with Kevin Gates that he really made me see things differently, he said a lot of men are in the gym constantly because they're trying not to hurt someone. So that you guys got to watch that shorts. It's really good. And I started to understand what he was saying. I was like, wow, I never thought about it that way. Because, we just think, okay, it's a way for them to blow steam off or whatever, get in shape. It's kind of like a 2-for-1. But once he said that, I said, okay. So you have to pay attention, especially to men's health. Thankfully, they're talking more than they ever had about their feelings. But yeah, we have to continue to encourage them to seek ways that will help them, all right? Okay, so that's number one, money issues. Number two, bullying. Oh my gosh. Okay, so back in the days or whatever, when I was growing up, bullying it was merciless, okay? Because there wasn't all of this all of this awareness. There weren't hotlines and things like that. Okay, so I think a lot of the times the older generations suffered so that the later generations after them could have the things that they have now. All right. I still remember when kids were getting paddled in schools, and you just had to be tougher. All right. I'm sorry, but I had to say it like that because there wasn't anybody that could really help you. So you had to like learn how to figure things out more for yourself back then than what they do now. Now, they have so many different places you can go to talk about this awareness. There's videos, there's hotlines, things like that. But when people get bullied, like I said before, people some people get bullied their whole life through, all right? They get through childhood, they get through their teenage years, and then they finally become adults and they're thinking, whoo, that's the end of that. But no, bullying then is just done on a lower level or on a more systematic level or in a sneakier way, okay? And you have to call it out or whatever. There's plenty of people, I've heard people say very negative things or whatever about me at work, in the work environment, but because you need your job, you try to steer clear of that, or because you don't want to feel like a snitch or whatever, even though they're violating you by saying these things and being horrible, you feel like you can't do anything about it because once again, you need the money. And especially if they're people that have been there for years or whatever, it's like, who's going to believe your word over this person that has all this seniority? So what I would say is, as far as being bullied as an adult, also as a young child, whatever. As an adult, you can learn how to keep track. You can keep a journal. You can record some of the things that are happening on the low. You can use audio record and video record if you could find a way to do that. But there is, I want to say EEOGC or whatever, and then they'll be able to, more so help you as far as bullying as an adult. It's a little bit harder when you're a kid or whatever because it's like you don't have any say so. So adults will tell you, oh, say something back about their mamas too. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. Well, all kids are not like that. Some kids are very scared and introverted. Everybody doesn't feel that way. Some kids will just keep it to themselves or whatever and they'll eat them up inside. So they have more of a feeling of worthlessness every day. And then a lot of times if kids say something or whatever, then the other kids will bully them even more. Oh, you just a punk. Oh, you running to tell everybody, da 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 da. So if a kid does come to you, make sure you have some action going forward. And that goes with grown-ups too. People in general, a lot of times they ain't I'm just gonna be honest with you, people ain't shit. They have to work on themselves to be decent people, okay? Because I read it, I heard it again, and it said the heart of man is evil, but to be a good person, you have to be conscious and aware. So you have to go above and beyond just, some of the basic primal instincts that people have. And let's be honest, a lot of times people do take advantage of who they think is weak or beneath them. All right. So it's not pretty. I didn't make it this way. I'm just telling you, we all know that this is the way it is. So you have to find different ways to cope with this. And that's why I'm also putting up 988 in the comments, because that's a unalive suicide prevention hotline. Okay. Another thing I'm going to do is put a prayer line number up as well, because I can't tell you how many times this prayer line has saved me. There's a 24-hour prayer line, and then there's a Richard Roberts prayer line where you can at least listen. Like if you can't get in touch with someone, they'll have a lot of scriptures and, things that'll help you get through it and make you feel better. I mean, some people believe and then some people don't. So I would definitely recommend to find something that you believe in, something that you feel like is a stronger power than you or a stronger power along with you. It doesn't have to be that you believe in God, source energy, Allah, Buddha, or anything like that. You could believe in a rock. You could just believe in yourself, but have something that you believe in, okay? So that's just one of my things that I would go to when I was struggling with certain issues. Okay, so that's number 2 is bullying. And then number 3 is going to be no sense of purpose. A lot of people will feel like, okay, I got the home, I got the money, I got the family, I got everything that society says I should have, okay? I look great, da da da, this and this and that and the other, but I still feel lost. And then that ties in with having a purpose, like believing in a higher power, okay? Believing in yourself, okay? What is it after you come home from, let's say you come home from work, right? After you pick the kids up and you bring them home, or however you got that worked out, when do you have time to do things other than what you're supposed to do as a grown up, okay? Because everybody tells you, okay, you're supposed to go to work, you're supposed to earn money, you're supposed to do this, you're supposed to do that. Do you feel lost doing for others? Or can you say, all right, I can do for others, make sure I have money coming in, but I want to do this for myself. This is something that I've always wanted to do ever since I was a child. Or I have like a secret mission, something that I feel like is pushing me on a higher power, by a higher power, if it makes any sense. So let me give you an example. I was reading something and it said, it was Taraji Henson. Everybody knows who that is. But she was saying that she felt empty, she felt lost, everything. She needed to go on a spiritual journey. And I think she went to Bali for like a month or something. People were commenting in the comments, oh, it's because she don't have a man, this and this and that. Okay, as someone that had all the things that society said that you're supposed to have, okay, I had a man, I had kids, I had a successful job, I had a decent home, I was able to afford to get back and forth. I had everything, that the basics that people would say. It might not have been on the highest level, but I had those things. And I felt unfulfilled. You know why? Because I was ignoring my calling, because I was ignoring the mission that I felt God put me on, okay? And then another thing that people don't want to talk about, a lot of times the people around you, your loved ones, will drain you. They are draining you of all your energy. So everything is pretty much done for them. And you feel like nobody is grateful. You're giving up all of this. People are going to work every day to support their families or whatever. And their families don't give up as long as they get what they want. And I'm sorry, but I'm going to bring it all the way out there. This is called real life topics revealed for a reason. So when you see that and you feel like that, you just like, why am I doing all this? Nobody cares anyway. Nobody appreciates this anyway. So you have to, it's okay to do the basics. It's okay to do what you're supposed to do and handle your responsibilities, but you also have a responsibility to yourself to make sure that you're happy, to make sure that you're doing something that fulfills you, okay? Your husband can't fulfill you, your kids can't fulfill you, a car, a job, all these outside things, a woman can't fulfill you, sex can't fulfill you. Spirituality, or getting on your purpose or mission or whatever you want to call it, is where you get that sense of fulfillment, because it's personal. It's something just for you. It's something that you like to do. Okay? Like my mom, she likes to knit. That's her thing. She likes to knit, crochet. I don't know if she still sews, but that's something just personal for her. Okay? So you have to find something that you're passionate about, something that's just for you, that makes you feel good. All right? That's number three, just not really having a sense of purpose. And then I think I touched on poverty or whatever, but just money issues or whatever. And poverty makes you feel like it's a sense of hopelessness. So that'll just be number four. Okay. That, oh, I don't even want to get into that because we already covered that pretty much with the money issues. But let's get into number five, different types of abuse. When you are being abused mentally, physically, emotionally, sexually, financially, any type of abuse that goes on for a long time and there's no justice, like the person is getting away with doing this over and over again, however they want to do it, then it will make you want to end the suffering and the pain, especially if it's a situation where you feel like it's going to be their word against yours, so yeah, that's something that a lot of people go through. And what I noticed is there's more guys talking, speaking out about this, but a lot of guys have been violated by women that were in positions of trust. Okay, like there's guys that have been violated by their moms. There's guys that have been violated by other men. Young boys that have been violated by a family member, a teacher. Some might be their own fathers, their grandfathers, things like that. And when they go through things like that as a man, it makes them feel even more weaker, because they're like, okay, I'm supposed to be able to fend for myself. This person is taking this choice away from me. So it's almost more common in women to go through that. So it's more talked about, things like that. People feel, more sorry for them. But men hold it in for so long. Like I was watching, ex narcissist Leon Walker Jr. I would, advise you guys to go check that out. Just like I said, go check out that Kevin Gates, that Kevin Gates clip. But anyway, he was talking about how he didn't admit that he had been violated until he was like 46 years old in counseling. So, yeah, when you go through all types of different kinds of abuse and it feels like it's never going to end and it feels like it's getting worse and worse, you know, yeah, you will want to end it. I remember my son came home one day and he was like hurt by what he heard, but he said that they were talking about different things in class one day. I think about sexual abuse and things like that. I don't know how they got to something so heavy. He was so young at that moment. And he told me, he was like, the one girl, she was getting abused by, I think, her stepfather, or some sexually, abused by her stepfather. She goes and tell the neighbor, which is a guy, and he starts abusing her too. And I'm like, dang, that's beyond messed up, okay? So people have to see justice done. I'm sorry. I might be off topic a little bit, but in situations like that or whatever, you got to tell on these people, record and find some kind of way. There's got to be some sense of justice, because if there's not, then that also breeds a sense of hopelessness, especially when you see the abuser or whatever getting away with whatever they want to do. No, you got to have a sense of justice. You have to have a sense of get back, if you feel where I'm coming from. And people do this in all different kinds of ways. But when they don't feel like justice is served, a lot of times they'll just, off themselves, so they no longer have to face that pain, that embarrassment or that abuse. Okay, so this is going on a little bit longer than what I thought it would be. uh, just wanted to get this out or whatever, because it's very important to talk about these uncomfortable topics. If you like what you're hearing, definitely subscribe, okay? Like I said before, I get into the nooks and crannies of things that, is very uncomfortable for most people to talk about, but these are things that I've dealt with personally in my own life, and then other people have as well. Okay, so if you like a cappella versions of cover songs, check out my other videos on Real Life Home Revealed. Other than that, make sure that you subscribe. Bye for now.